Welcome to this week's episode of the Dig podcast. I feel like I have a bit of a pattern recently of saying this is a very exciting podcast, but this is a very exciting podcast. But as well as excitement, there's lots of inspiration for us as people who have dreams in the world of work and life, that dreams do come true. So we were granted access behind the scenes at the recent launch of the Muff Distillery in Donegal. Muff Liquor has launched their new distillery, and many of you probably know the CEO and founder, Laura Bonner, because she has been a guest on the Dig podcast before, and we've heard all about her story of grit and determination and the trials and tribulations that she has been through in life and in business. But she had a dream and she never gave up, and she was determined, and she now is going global. And we're still exhausted, but we're ready to bring you the behind the scenes action of the day, of the launch. So basically in the podcast today, you're going to hear from Laura, from her family, from her Chief Global Commercial Officer about what it takes to go global with your brand. And that's going to be so relevant for many of you who listen. And we're also going to hear from her investors, and one of them we're going to hear direct from. And her investors, for those who don't know and have been living under a rock, her investors are Crowe, Ronan Keating, Sheerhan, Jimmy Carr, Ryan Tubridy, and a host of other family, friends, and other people who've believed in her brand and her business. They've invested in her. We had the pleasure of seeing Crowe and Ronan Keating there in the Muff Distillery, and we captured just exactly why they felt she had the magic sauce when it comes to business and a brand. So you're not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned. It's action packed. I'll talk you through it and who we're speaking to and give you the intros and all of that. But this is a brilliant episode. First, we're going to hear from the main woman herself, CEO and founder of Muff Liquor Company, Laura Bonner.
Here, which you've created, I've been inside, the tractor, all the little signals to your granda, all the heritage that comes from this. Like, it's just amazing. We're so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. To honestly, I'm so proud of myself today. I'm very overwhelmed. I'm extremely grateful, and I'm bursting with pride.
So everybody's so proud of you in Ireland, and Muff especially. You can see the crowds here today. So have we a big day? Are we expecting a big day inside? What's happening?
It's a big day every day, but today's going to be special. We're waiting on Russell. He'll be here any minute. Nathan Carter's going to take the stage. Ronan Keating's taking the stage. Ryan Tubridy's here. My dad's here, more importantly. So look, it's been a dream come true. It's been 20 years in the making, and here we are, so I'm going to enjoy every single moment.
And before we sign off, we want to see that tattoo one more time.
For the better. Did you see my bar's called it?
Her bar is even called For the Better, and I suppose there's a message in that, just to end with that. What's the message to everybody? For the better.
It just means no matter what is ever happening in your life, if you think it's bad, it's not. It's for the better. So the reason I called my bar that is I want people to cheers. It's for the better. And just keep going. Life will turn out beautiful just the way you are.
Unreal.
As you can hear, Laura is very excited, and rightly so, and proud of herself. We should all be proud when we reach our goals, but she deserved every minute of the excitement of that day, and I know it's still ongoing up there in Muff. While we were there, I spotted Tony Carroll, who is Global Chief Commercial Officer for Muff Liquor Company. He was enjoying some of the finest whiskey from the Muff brand, but I just grabbed him just for a few minutes to hear about the reasons why he's believed in Laura, how they're going global. 50 states across America, they're hitting with the Muff Liquor brand, and it's going to be huge. And why? What is it so special about her, and what has Laura and her brand done to make that happen? You're going to hear now from Tony.
So my role really within the Muff Liquor Company is to build an international footprint and to build an international distribution footprint around the world for the Muff Liquor Company. And our first port of call and target will be America and the USA.
So we're very excited about that. You and I were talking just before we came on the Dig podcast, and you said you wanted an anchor for Muff Liquor, somewhere that resonated with the people, that was niche to you guys, that meant something. We're standing in it, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And what I love about the story that we, as a small group of people in the Muff Liquor Company, have spoke about over a number of years and months, Russell Crowe actually tidied up lovely in his conversation and speech inside, where he said, why did Ryan Tubridy asked him, why did you get on board? Why this brand? And the reason why he jumped on board was it's the people. It's anchoring it in Donegal. It's about heritage. It's about storyboard. And Donegal is such storyboard and history. And I've said to Laura, we need to make sure we bring the Donegal people, the Donegal story in a shown on this journey with us, because that's what people want. When people are around the world, they don't want to just buy brands. They want to buy into them. And buying into them is the Bonner story. It's Laura's story and how strong and determined as a female she is, but also then as well back home rooted in Muff County Donegal and in Ireland, and so that's really the main reason for it.
The people of Donegal are surrounded us here now. Like Muff, there is something special about Donegal. I'm Tyrone woman, but there's something special about Donegal and the people, and it's definitely out here today. Global, we're going global, right? That's in your title. What does that look like for the brand? What's the next big thing?
Yeah, for us right now, our strategy is, I suppose, when you look at an awful lot of Irish brands, start locally, which is in their local town or village where they are created, and they move international, which is Ireland, and then if they're lucky they can stretch out to the UK and maybe into Europe. But everybody knows the whale and the big market is America, so we're very, very lucky with not only the brand name and the support we have, but also our investors with Russell, Ryan, Ed and Jimmy. We're going straight to America, and with our partners in America who are the Balls, Lucas Balls company, we're going to have 50 state distribution overnight, but also as well we've got great brand marketing teams behind us to really blow this brand up at a serious rate, but also always keeping Laura to the forefront. And what's very hot right now in America and globally is that female CEOs in the drinks industry space is very, very limited. There's not many people in it, and Laura ticks the box on that right now. The beautiful thing about Laura is she brings such a lovely a directness to the business, a clarity to the business, a drive, a determination to her, but then she sits back. And we have a rule of thumb in the business right now, and we're small, but we have a rule of thumb of we hire best in class. And we are going to be a small team. We never want to be big. We're never going to be corporate. We don't want to be, we don't aspire to be the big guys. We aspire to be us, the Muff Liquor Company, and we want to represent Laura Bonner to the T. And working with her on a day-to-day basis, honestly, it's challenging. We have so many discussions. And the funny thing is, because we're such a small team, we talk about bottles, we talk about shippers, we talk about the cardboard that goes into the boxes, sustainability. We talk about the brand home. We talk about how are we launching in America. We talk about Hard Rock Cafe. It just flip-flaps so much, but that's the life of Laura Bonner, and that is the beautiful thing about it, and that's where we're going with the brand.
And as people who listen to the Dig podcast, Tony, are people like Laura trying hard in the world of work, grow their business. There's a message in that, isn't there? Don't lose who you are and what you stand for as a brand because you want to be bigger.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I think the most successful people in the world, when you hear about the big brands and anybody successful, they always had huge self-belief. And when you see Laura Bonner, and I interviewed with Laura on a Wednesday, and on Friday morning I got a phone call, and Laura said, I'm taking the job off the market. If you'll say to me today, you'll do this, I think we could be a team. And you know what? It sort of, straight away, that sort of resonated with me, and I went, oh my God, she knows exactly what she wants, and she's found something in me, and she said, I want you on my team. And since then, that's exactly the way she is. So there's, and that's what Russell Crowe, and that's what Ryan and Ed, and I've been with Laura where we've met Ed in the US recently, and just the relationship, and everybody seems to have the same opinion of Laura, which is she is a hustler. She said it today in the presentation earlier on. She is a hustler. She's driven. But what I love about her on the business and the commercial sense, she's really good at saying, okay, I've hired the best in class, let us get on with it, and drives it forward. So you couldn't have a better CEO. And
that's a message too, get the good people that know what they're doing and let them do their thing. What's in the glass?
In the glass right now is a 5-part blend, smoke-peated Irish whiskey from the Muff Liquor Company.
No ice?
no ice, straight up for me, but you can have
Your
ice.
wife told you to put the ice in.
Yeah, my wife said, seriously, we've got a long day, put some ice in. You can have it in an old-fashioned either or. We've actually designed it, as we're launching in America, we're going in at a line price in the retailers, but we're also going in at the premium end. So we're going in at $34.99. So what we've got to make sure is that if somebody wants to trade up from some of the biggest Irish blended whiskies in the world and they want to trade up for $4 or $5, we want to make sure they've got a serious bang for their buck. And in this liquid, I can guarantee you, the smoke peated 5-part blend, it's a very, very complicated, lots of characteristics, and I think it's a real premium whiskey. So I think the consumer will definitely win in America.
Sold. I've only tried the gin, but I'm going for a whiskey after this with ice, definitely for me. Thank you so much for, we don't take it for granted, you're so busy. Thank you for taking the time. I can't wait. I'll be following you on LinkedIn, so does Mary. All the things you are doing, that's where I'll be watching all the businessy side of things, but just can't wait. It's so exciting. So good luck to you, and it's just brilliant.
Thank you, really appreciate it. And Laura appreciates everything you do for her. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
As you can hear, Tony is very passionate, and it takes someone like that to be with you in business, to drive you on and make you achieve your goals. And what he talked about is hiring the best and let them do their job. That's what I took a lot of. I took a lot of things, but one of the key things was that. So Tony's amazing, and he's doing brilliant things with the brand, and we can see why Laura wants him at the head of global commercial sales. He's unreal. I'm so good of him to take the time. He's influenced me to maybe try the whiskey very soon. So we also know that we couldn't do any of this without our family. So you all know, what would we be if we didn't have our families to come home to and, share our worries and our dreams and all with. They're the people that carry us through the hard times and the good times. And that is very true of Mr. Michael Bonner, father of Laura, who has a twinkle in his eye like Laura. He's got that, what was Ryan Tubridy called it, like a rascality, a lovable rogue way with him whenever you meet him. And he has that love of his family that, fathers have, and that encouragement for all his children, not just his daughter, and how he spotted something very young with Laura, and we're going to hear now what it was.
Just that twinkle in your eye when I walked in the door and you were so proud of Laura, and I was like, who is this man? And it's her daddy.
Yes.
Welcome to the Dig Podcast.
Thank you very much, Caroline.
How proud are you?
Yeah, but all my kids, I'm proud of every one of them. And they're all involved one way or another in the Muff Liquor project,
And what do you think is it that Laura has, that made her, she's been through a lot, ups and downs, that determination, was she always like that?
Well, I think at about age 10, I did say to her, Laura, your personality is going to carry you through life, You may not be a mathematician or a scientist, but personality counts for more than anything else. And that's what you have in spades.
Absolutely. And she's a good person too.
She's a wonderful person. Yeah. They're honestly, they are one. They all love each other. That's the great thing about it. They all love each other. That's the biggest thing. Love is the main thing, That's what keeps us together, I think.
It is, and she's very given and wants everybody to come along on the journey. But what do you think the future is for Muff Liquor now?
Well, of course, the sky's the limit now, isn't it? Lucas Bowles paid her such a fantastic compliment to the top men in Amsterdam and New York.
No way.
We're both here in the city of Muff.
The city of Muff.
Today.
Definitely.
Thank you so much to Michael Bonner for taking the time to share. It was a busy day for him to share with us just why he thinks Laura has that secret sauce. He always knew it anyway. And then we were so overwhelmed. There was so many people, but we managed to speak to one of her investors, and that was absolutely huge for us because we wanted to know why. Why Laura? There's so many of you listen to Dig Podcast and you're pitching and you're hoping you get that, break or that lucky or that investment. What made her stand out? Ryan Tubridy was so good to spend some time talking to us about that, and fellow podcaster, he knew what it was like, and he was right there telling us everything we needed to know, and this is what Ryan had to say.
So we're here with Ryan, who is MC today, right?
Yeah, you should know about that.
I know, you're better at it than me, but I'm so happy to be here with you, and you're a fellow podcaster, so thank you for saying yes.
Well, from one podcaster to another, congratulations on the Dig podcast. Hope it's going really well for you guys.
Thank you. Well, even better now you're going to be on it, if that's all right. So Laura was one of our guests on the Dig podcast. She's unreal, as you know, because you're an investor in Muff Liquor, isn't that right? What stood out about Laura, Ryan?
Just a short break in the podcast to ask for your help. So we've been so lucky with all the brilliant followers, everybody that listens, and they love the podcast, and we're going to great places and hearing from great people, but we want to reach even more people to bring great advice to you. So we need your help in that action of subscribing and following. So whatever platform you listen on, if you haven't yet hit the follow button on Apple or Spotify, please, if you can do that for us today, just take that second and hit that button. If you watch on YouTube, then hit subscribe, and it means the Dig podcast can reach even further and bring you even more great advice.
Her belief, her passion, her curiosity, she was just all about the business, but also the fact that it's family. I love that it's family, it's Irish, it's local. And she has a determination and a grit. I'm sure your listeners will know about the necessity for that, particularly for a woman in a world of crazy egotistical men like me. You need to have that, and she has it, and she's a lesson to us all. She's amazing.
And you talked about her daddy. I met her daddy when I came in. What a charismatic twinkle in his eye, rascal.
Yeah, he's a devil. Yeah.
But she's got her drive from him, I think, and the people of Donegal, you mentioned them, and the family roots and all. So it's great to see you here anyway. It's great to see you back, and we'll follow your podcast, loving what you're doing, and maybe someday you'll be my guest.
Well, I absolutely. Let me know what I can do, and if I can be part of your show, that sounds like a great idea. Across the border there, my grandmother, Mary Coyle, was born in Derry. So I'm not a million miles away from here, but I'm in Donegal today, so we'll keep it local.
Close to Derry, close to Derry.
There you have it. It's great. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Ryan.
There's not just one investor in the Muff Liquor Company. There's multiple investors, but there was two key people at the launch, and that was Russell Crowe and Ronan Keating. And they talked to us. They talked to the crowd. They told the people there why Laura, why Muff Liquor, and why it's so important to tell your story. Russell talks about the heritage, where it all began, how that captured his attention. The story of Philip McClenaghan, the man who made the poaching first, Laura's granda. So now you're going to hear from Russell Crowe and Ronan Keating on the Dig podcast.
Russell Crowe, welcome to Donegal, welcome to Muff. We've spoken about this project over the last couple of years. Here we are. Tell us about your feelings right today.
Well, I'm thoroughly impressed with what I see, and I think you've done a beautiful job with this building. And hopefully this is the beginning, of a long series of successes for you, for the company, for the town.
People will be very interested to know why somebody like you, Russell, with your interest in movies and obviously music. You were at the gig last night, which you knocked out of the park, by the way, if you haven't heard. And Lorraine O'Reilly's here today. She was super too, of course, in the band. Anyway, what I'm saying to you is, why you and why here?
Well, the funny thing is, my job is telling stories. So I'm always open to a good story. And when I heard the story of old Phil and what would happen on a Friday afternoon, I just got really attracted to it, and then I tried the product, and that really sealed the idea for me that I had to get involved. It's a great product, and the story is a fantastic story that will travel from place to place and country to country. And I just wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of pushing that,
And I'm glad you are.
It's like a little engine that could, right?
I like a little tractor that could.
But one of the most important parts of that was making sure that we had a footprint in Muff, so that people of Muff could be involved. We should be an employee here, which we are going to be on a bigger and bigger scale as time goes by. And when people can connect to the product like that, they can have a personal pride in it. I think that's really important. That there's that basis to this product going forward.
Okay, it's a good story. Ronan Keating, again, a great success story in your own right. Local hero in Ireland, obviously, and with an international footprint, to use Russell's word. Tell us about your thoughts being here today and your involvement in the product as much as you can.
So, Russell and I were kind of been chatting for quite some time about getting involved, in different, liquor brands, and it became a trendy thing. So we kind of stopped looking. And we'd often talk about different things, meet up in different parts of the world. And I got a call one day, he was here in Ireland, shooting a film, and he just said, I found it. I found Martin because I found what we've been looking for. And I'm putting a bunch of guys together. Ed, yourself.
The Muff Liquor Men.
The Muff Men was created, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and you know, when Rusty calls, you know, we step up to the plate, and it's just been, you know, it's been brilliant. It's been really fantastic, and to see this come to fruition, we've been talking about it for near 3 years now. To see what the Bonner family have done is an absolute.
We've been here a few hours wandering around and just taking it all in, Laura, and what I keep hearing from people, particularly people from around the neighbourhood, including your own family, is it's an emotional day.
I'm a little emotional now, actually.
Why is that? Just give us a sense.
So overwhelmed. It's been like a 20-year dream to see something come to reality. It's amazing. And I just love everyone. And actually, my dad, he 58 years ago on the 2nd of July, 58 years ago, he took over the family business. So I hope I'm as successful as you. So it's a good open for today.
Happy anniversary. Congratulations. You said something very interesting there about how this story will travel. You see a universality in this story. And what do you mean by that?
Well, it's just kind of a romantic idea, is that there is a potato farmer looking at what he can do with his rotten potatoes. You know, comes up with a recipe for a drink that appeals to people. And on a Friday afternoon, if you had nothing on, you could drop into Phil's and fill up your receptacle. I just think it's a brilliant story of community writing.
Okay, business-wise, Laura, you want to welcome some people from around the world who got involved in this, and with the recipe. We also believe in the dream of the product.
Oh, absolutely. We've got our new partners, which I'm extremely proud of, Louis Bowles. We've got the US team and the guys from the Netherlands, and honestly, I'm so grateful to be part of you and for you guys to be part of us, and I can tell how much you believe in our brand as much as we do, which really, really helps. And for us to be launching into America later this year with you guys, we will smash it. So really, really
You now know the answer to the question that I've been asked since I started telling people about this. You know, Ronan Keating, Ed Sheerhan, Russell Crowe, Jimmy Carr, and told us to walk into a pub. What happens next? The answer is, I think, a beautiful product, a great family business, a local story like Laura and her family's come good with an international twist. This is potentially the best of who we are as a country, what we can do and put our minds to it. Keep it local, keep flying the flag for Ireland. It's a great country with some great friends like Russell and from our friends from around the world. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
I love that bit, the best of who we are as a country, and support local, you know, support your fellow business owners. That's how Ryan summed it all up at the end. And Russell, actually, we're always talking about this on the Dig podcast and everything to do with Dig, storytelling. People resonate and connect with a story, and Laura has been so good at putting her story at the forefront of her brand. And I suppose there's a message there for all of us in our work and in our business. What is your story? Do people know your story? Are you telling it? Are you proud of it? Are you shouting it from the rooftops like she does about her granda and how Muff came to be, Muff Distillery came to be? She is, and that's what grabbed the investors' attention, and I think that that's key with everything. Storytelling is what it is, and Russell is a storyteller. We definitely could see that on the day. I think it's just been such a journey, and I only know Laura about a year now, but I interviewed her first in Russell Crowe's house and over Zoom when she was there, and we talked all about the effects of COVID, and we're, as I said, we're going to link that in the show notes. But to see this now, this is what everyone can achieve in relation to dreams. Your dreams can come true if you keep evolving, keep changing, and keep trying hard. And Laura always says, as you know, for the better. So no matter what happens in life, no matter what path you take, it's for the better. And I think when we think like that, then everything's definitely going to work out and be okay. Thank you so much for listening to the Dig podcast. Thank you for all your support. That was a busy one, I know, but so exciting for us. We couldn't believe it. We were pinching ourselves and we were behind the scenes and talking to people with such, great influence across the world, but also they're just people, as we saw, who believe in other people, and that's what gives you that great feeling in your stomach that it could happen to anyone. Thank you for listening to the Dig podcast, and thank you for subscribing. As I said during it, we couldn't do this, we couldn't get anywhere if you weren't following and subscribing. So thank you for all of your support, and we will see you next time on the Dig podcast.